Welcome to Make Today Count, your 20 minutes of fresh conversation served up to inform, educate and inspire an abundant life. I'm your host Ross Dean, and each episode I chat to thought leaders, influencers and experts in their game who all have one thing in common: the desire to go that extra mile, pushing against the status quo to create a richer life for both themselves and those around them, powered by compassion and driven by the need to leave the world that little bit better than when they arrived. Okay, hi guys, and welcome back to the new episode of Make Today Count. And today we've got Michelle O'Neill. Michelle, how are you?
I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. We recorded a little bit later this evening because we wanted to hang out outside our houses and clap for the NHS as we do. And we were just, speaking offline about how really it's become a really staple part of our weeks now, isn't it? With some of this stuff, and it's a quite a life affirming thing that we're sort of getting involved with.
It is. It's just that real sense of community, I think, is one of the positives that we can take from this horrible experience.
And we kind of mentioned before that we're seeing people come out on the streets who we've never seen come out of their house before.
People you don't normally know whether to give eye contact to, but now we're waving and we're sharing glasses of wine soon.
I know. Sure. Who knows? Street parties and stuff. But like you say, we hope that after all this is over, it'll be something nice that we can try and keep going and sharing a friendly word with people as we sort of go past, because we just don't do that, do we?
No, we don't. No, I think if we can keep that going, then it will be brilliant. I think the world will definitely be a better place.
Yeah. So I also should mention that for anyone that's listening that's not in the UK at the moment, so with the coronavirus pandemic at the moment here in the UK on a Thursday evening at 8 p.m, everyone is going out their front door onto the street and giving a round of applause, all clapping for all the fantastic workers we have within the NHS who are looking after people all over the UK when they have no choice to, they have to get involved as part of their job. So we're all super grateful for everything that we do. So that's what we do. Because I'm thinking that there'll be someone listening that's not in the UK and thinking, what are they going on about? So just to give a bit.
We just like to clap every now and again.
It's what we do here. Michelle, thank you so much for coming on. This was a topic that I really wanted to get into, because I think although we're going to be speaking, in somewhat specifically about your business and what you do, I think so much of it is transferable to so many other businesses with what they do. But before we get into that around sort of customer service and that kind of boutique experience, what I'd love is that, can you give us a bit of a background about your background and kind of how you got to where you are today with Purity?
Definitely. So I'm Michelle O'Neill, and I'm a beauty therapist. I came into the world of beauty in 2001, which feels so long ago now. I'm a bit old. Initially when I first started out, I wanted to be a makeup artist, but as soon as I was at college, I realised I just had this love of skin, massive skin geek. I love anatomy and physiology and the science behind everything. Soon after I left college, I started working with a skincare brand called Gino, which we still have in Purity today. Absolutely fell in love with the brand and continued to work with them throughout my career. I was really fortunate to have an opportunity a few years in to work for Virgin Atlantic. So I became an in-flight beauty therapist, worked in upper class and travelled around the world for a bit, which was pretty amazing. Actually feels a bit like a dream world now when I think back to it, especially with 2 children now in tow, what I would do to escape to an American mall. Did that for a couple of years, and then went back into beauty. When I was flying, I really, really missed my clients. I remember specifically one day being on the plane and just thinking, I just missed my clients so much. I missed having that chat with them, just seeing them regularly, making a difference to their skin and their lives, without sounding too crazy about what we do. We really we connect with people in quite a special way, and I really, really missed it. So came back into salon life, and then a couple of years later decided to open my own salon. So Purity was born in 2011. And yeah, since then it's been pretty amazing, quite an amazing experience. Started off with myself and one other therapist. We then grew to a team of 10. And we're now in a really exciting journey of kind of rebranding again and going back to the core of what Purity is all about. So really amazing customer service and specialist treatment. So it's quite, although scary, quite an exciting time for us at the moment as well.
Yeah. And, just as I listened back to all that experience, I'm guessing that all those stages in your career, you've been able to just pull into the business for what it is now, all the time you were at Virgin. I'm guessing that there's a lot you took away from that experience. And
Definitely.
do you still find, is that what you found? Was there kind of a lot of the things you learned from there, things that you kind of bring into Purity?
I mean, Virgin is renowned, isn't it, for being an amazing brand for customer service. Definitely, I've actually, a bit sad of me, but I've got a notebook that I love to keep a notebook, and I've got one that I wrote pre-Virgin, and it kind of had my 10-year plan on it. And then I used to, every time I went away with Virgin, one of my things was to go and have a treatment in one of the hotel spas or in a salon somewhere where we were staying. So I'd then always make notes about different things and for my vision, basically, for what I would want my salon to end up being. So that's really lovely to look back on and kind of reflect. But yeah, definitely the kind of the customer service of Virgin is kind of paramount to what I do now and what we do as a business. I suppose really as well, I mean, one of the first jobs I had was working in a florist shop. And actually I think that kind of cemented a lot of my outlook. So the guy that owned that business was really particular about the way things looked, his customer service and the message, and his brand was just incredible and was renowned for that kind of friendly but professionalism. Yeah. And I often think now when I look at displays and things that we've got in the salon, I often think back to him and kind of how he would display things and what he'd do. So I think any experience in life you have really is, you can take really positive things from it and also take the negative and know not to do certain things and use that in how you want to go forward.
I totally agree. I think, even with myself, even though predominantly I'm taking photographs, the past experience and past jobs and all that kind of thing, maybe you learn how to have a consultation or you learn to hold meetings or all these different things that you can do. They're all so transferable to anything that we do within our lives. And I think as we go through and we kind of connect with key people, like you say, in the florist, or key businesses, like you said, with Virgin, like attracts like, we are kind of magnetically pulled into what are similar to our values and the experiences that we would love to offer. And I think it's just, it's really funny. You mentioned about, the notepad that you had, and that almost you were kind of preempting what you were going to be doing. You were kind of, what you were writing down was soon to become true, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, without me probably really thinking that it was ever going to happen. But they say, don't they, if you write it down, there's more chance of it happening than if you don't write it down. So,
and also you said that you spoke that before you worked there, you would go to there for treatments, or you go to some of their places, and so you're kind of putting yourself in a position to win, really, weren't you?
And just to kind of experience what it's like to be a client, to be on the other side. We all know generally what we're doing is our job role. Yeah. But I think we often forget what it's like to be on that other side, and to be that customer.
So from what you've said so far, what I'm hearing is that, you've kind of always been driven and drawn to, delivering these kind of high level client experiences, these kind of what we call them boutique experiences, with what you're doing with Purity and everything else that you've done before. Like anything, we always have these kind of buzzwords that have around, maybe the hashtags on Instagram or somewhere else, and boutique, again, similar to some others, is one that's kind of banded around quite a bit. Anyone can slap on boutique in front of a product and call it that, and but what really makes it that is kind of what it's backed up with. I think you'll probably
Definitely.
agree. When it comes to what you've been doing with Purity before, what does kind of boutique kind of mean to you, and when it comes to what you're doing at Purity?
To me, it's really about offering something different. So, again, it depends on what's important to the person that's leading the business. But yeah, to me, it's always about just always pushing that one step further. So professionalism is kind of paramount to everything we do in the business. And customer service, always making sure we're kind of one step ahead with everything. Just creating that really niche environment, niche experience where people are going to feel kind of the best that they possibly can feel.
I'm guessing, I don't know the sort of history behind it, but I'm guessing it would probably come from clothing boutiques originally, and kind of how the higher level boutiques would give you more time to shop. They would give you more attention from the people that worked in there. There'd be a higher level of product in there. I'm guessing it comes from that. So if that kind of model is transferable to a lot of businesses, I guess, even if you don't sell a widget or a product as such, there's ways that you can deliver higher levels through the service you offer. And I know that's something that you hold in really high regard at Purity.
Definitely. Yeah, I think like you said, it is transferable to any business at all. I know what you do with your photography side of things, how you really go that extra step to offer a different experience. It's just about how you look at it, isn't it, really, and how you transfer it into your business.
Yeah, I think a good way of kind of packaging up is just about caring. I think in a way, it's offering that next level to get a greater connection. And that's how kind of I've kind of seen it. What have you seen with Purity that's been really beneficial from you offering that level of service? Because I'm guessing for many people, to offer that kind of level of service, it includes a lot more work, than it would do normally. But what has been some of the kind of benefits that you've seen from Purity in kind of delivering that level?
I think, to be honest, it's probably loyalty from clients.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I've had same clients, not all of them obviously, but the majority of them I've had known since I was 18.
Wow.
So they've been with me, pre-Virgin days, and then post-Virgin days have come back and found me again.
Yeah.
So, it's the experience as a whole, but also it's just about being real. It's just about, that's my vision and the vision that the business has got. But it's just making the clients always feel that, they are the most important person, and they are when they're with us. They definitely are the most important person to us. So yeah, I think it's just the loyalty, really.
I'm guessing also because you offer both products as well as you're using products when you're doing the therapies and all the different bits and pieces. I'm guessing the way in which you choose your products counts to a lot of things as well, doesn't it? About kind of the quality of the products when kind of molding it into that kind of whole experience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of the brands that we've always offered, it's always been brands that I personally believe in, and as a salon we believe in. So all of our clients know that we wouldn't be doing a treatment or offering a product if we didn't think it was going to work, because obviously there's a lot of things out there which say they do things and they don't. And in terms of the treatments that we do, obviously there's protocols that we follow for different bits and pieces. But it's just keeping everything as real to you as it can be, really, as real to your vision.
Yeah. And I guess, one of the things that I'd noticed about Purity and what you guys do is that for the products, you have to go on specific trainings and stuff specifically for those products a lot of the time. So, to speaking about that client experience, that must leave clients safe with the knowledge that you're experts about those products and you believe in them, like you mentioned before, and that you can talk about them. And if they've got issues around certain things, you're kind of educated to do that. I guess, rather than maybe a lower level of service where you just put something in a bag, they'd walk out the door with it, and then kind of they'd be left to their own devices and such. I think, that plays a big part, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, any industry I think is constantly evolving. Our industry especially, God, in the last 20 years, it's ridiculous how much it's changed. But so great because of that, because it means we're always learning, we're always kind of finding out new tips and tricks and different things to do, which again, puts us at the forefront of the industry, where that's one of the things I kind of realized quite quickly, having the business, was that you cannot sit still. You have to be constantly evolving and evolving, because if you sit still, you're just gonna get left behind, and everyone else is gonna run off around you. So it's really important.
And I know there's going to be, a lot of listeners hearing this saying that this all sounds amazing. I'd love to offer this level within my business. But, like a lot of things, Michelle, as we know, there are a lot of things that we'd like to do, but we just don't get around to it for whatever reason that being. Why do you think, for a lot of people or businesses, we know we need to do some of this stuff, but we kind of put it off? Is there anything that you've seen in your experience, from building your business?
I think it's probably just down to prioritizing. I think we can all get stuck in the day-to-day tasks and, the mundane jobs. And we often will think that something as big as bringing something new in or changing the way we do something is going to take a lot of time. But actually, once you start that process and you start to evaluate your business and reflect on different bits and pieces, you realize actually it doesn't have to take that long, or maybe you've already got things in place that you hadn't really thought of before that will be the next step to you developing whatever it is that you want to develop. So I think it is really just, we're all guilty of it, procrastinating and, and everything else. So I think it is just that prioritizing is the key.
And I guess to those businesses that are kind of a bit on the fence or maybe haven't done, what would you say that they may be kind of leaving on the table or missing out on, from not doing this? What's got the benefits that you've seen which they can really sort of capitalize on?
I think it's really just always, like we said, being one step ahead of the game and just offering that extra thing for your clients and being different from your competitors. Every industry, there's always someone doing something very similar to you. Whether it be someone down the road or someone in another city or town. So I think really it's just making yourself stand out, but at the same time it's got to be true to you. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of fail, is they could possibly be imitating what another business does. Actually that vision isn't true to them, so it's never going to work. It has to be something that you believe in.
I think you're right. From what you were saying before, you have to go back to take a step back. What are your values? What do you want to achieve with the business? Both on, obviously a business level, but then on a kind of a connection level, because, the first thing you mentioned was the fact that, it's brought you loyalty with clients. And that has only come from the experience that you offer in that kind of caring, kind of approachable way. I'm guessing. And, it's something we just take for granted sometimes, but it obviously shows from kind of the feedback and stuff that you had that is going on for what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I think people want to be listened to, don't they? We all do. We all like to tell our story and be listened to. And I love it. I love it when I have my clients in and, they're not clients, they're friends now after all of these years. And there's nothing better for me than having my clients in and making them feel as important as they should be feeling, yet giving them the service that, ultimately they're paying for, but also the experience of just being listened to. And
and I think also, when we're a bit on the fence, but maybe we're starting to lean into some of this stuff. So, if you think back to a time, maybe Michelle, where you were looking to, level up the service or start to push out a new product or service. I'm guessing there's times when you've been reluctant to, because you've felt a whole manner of different emotions about why maybe you can't do it, or the kind of the stories we tell ourselves or myths we tell ourselves about why we can't do some of this stuff. Is there anything that's kind of stood out, and kind of what encouragement would you give to people that are they know they want to do this stuff, but it's just they're having trouble just pushing themselves over the edge to get going?
Yeah, I think it's just about planning and kind of reflecting on what you're doing, and looking at how to do it, really putting it into bite-sized chunks and not making it a massive deal, not making it a massive project, kind of making it actually quite manageable. And then from that, you then know if it is going to work for your business, and if it is going to be beneficial, or actually if you need to look at it in a slightly different way.
Yeah, I think, with some of this stuff, it's important to, because with the best will in the world, I guess, we think we know what our clients want sometimes, but in fact, it could be something that's completely different.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that when you started with Puri, a lot of what you offered was taken from your past experience at Virgin and all that kind of stuff. But as you've kind of progressed, and you've had all these different iterations of the business, how have you, how do I phrase it? How have you kind of connected or spoken to your clients to find out kind of what they want to offer so that you can adequately give them the service and experience that they need?
So obviously speaking to them and asking them the question is, one of the easiest, but one of the best ways, because you're connecting with people. Also for us, it's looking at what we're doing. So looking at how many of a certain service we're offering, how often we do it. So that, obviously shows how popular it is.
And when it comes to Puri, how do you kind of do that? Is that by way of going out to your client list in some way, or some kind of online facility? How do you kind of do that?
Yeah, so we've got an online booking system, or a computerized booking system, which stores literally everything. It is the salon. So it's got, every single client's record and what treatments they've had. Shows us exactly what facials we do, what waxing we do each month, what's the most popular treatment. And that's something that I look at on a monthly basis, and then kind of correspond with the previous years to see trends and to see what's going on. So just really constantly evaluating what you're doing.
So I'm guessing having a system like that is like pure gold, isn't it? Because like you say, at the touch of a button, you can kind of see all that kind of data.
And if you're a bit of a spreadsheet geek, it's amazing.
Yeah, but I think like you say, it's something that you've built up over the years that you've had. You just didn't start off with that kind of database to have. That's come from
it, do you?
No. Do you think it's worth? Have you found that if for people that maybe have just started the business, is it important to kind of, if it's not in a computerized system, in some other way, to keep this data and keep kind of looking at this data? Have you found that really helpful?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can think you know things, but actually, when something's black and white, it can't lie to you. Whereas your thoughts can be kind of mixed up into different thoughts. So I think definitely having some kind of system, be it a physical system of you filling out your own spreadsheet, to an actual computerized system that does it all for you. If you want, if you're ready and if you want to go to that next step, I think it's really important.
And I know from personal experience as well, one of the things that you guys do is that after an appointment, you offer some way of people to give feedback as well, don't you, or comments around that? Has that been really helpful on a kind of really a person to person basis?
Yeah, really helpful. From the positives as well as the negatives, because obviously we all need constructive feedback to grow.
Yeah, of course.
So even something, as simple as the heated blankets weren't turned on when I came in for my appointment, on a freezing cold day in December, then, that's like, okay, right, why weren't they turned on and what happened that day, and just looking into things. So, but at the same time, then having all of that amazing positive feedback. And actually for my team, for each of them, they absolutely love it when they get their reviews and they see that could be a client that they see every week and they know that they're doing a great job, but actually just seeing it in black and white is just so affirming for them. And it gives, like all of us, we love a bit of praise, don't we? So it's always good to see.
And I think as well, it's just about giving people the opportunity to feedback. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
if sometimes I'm guessing if people have treatments and they go about their lives, they go back to work and all that kind of stuff. With the best will in the world, they just don't think about it to give
Yeah.
feedback sometimes. And sometimes if people do give feedback, usually it's when things haven't gone so well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Definitely.
so I guess it's just giving that helping hand, and I think that all incorporates into that whole experience, doesn't it, to show that you've listened at the beginning to what people want, you've delivered the experience, and then you're willing also to continue that conversation afterwards,
Yeah.
and say, how can we make this better, or how can we enhance the experience for next time.
Definitely. And then following up on it, not just leaving it there that someone's giving you feedback, actually following up and using that information to
That- that's,
expand as much as you can.
Actually, that's a really great point as well, because often, sometimes we get people that want to give us feedback, which is helpful, and the way in which we kind of process that is super important in regards to the experience, the whole experience that we're offering. So, what advice would you kind of give to people or businesses that maybe haven't allowed their clients to give feedback because they're worried about what they might get back? Because I'm guessing that the experience is also about how you reply to some of this stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you haven't ever asked for feedback because you're worried, I
Mm,
think it's because deep down something isn't right. And I
yeah.
think you're scared about what you're going to receive. So,
Mm, mm,
it's you either continue and you keep your head underneath the sand and you don't look up to things
yeah.
and try and change them, or you face them and find out what you can do. And actually, it might not be as bad as what you thought it was going to be.
It never is. It never is it?
No, never is at all. We always make things out to be, everything. We always make it out to be so much worse.
Mm,
So, yeah, I think it's just act on it, really. Just act on it. And then once you've had that feedback, act on it again and chase it up. Don't leave things, just follow
mm.
through all the time and make sure that whatever, you might have had to put a new system in place based
When you,
on someone's feedback.
yeah, and when you communicate in those instances, are you purely electronic, or do you pick up the phone, or is it kind of a mixture of both? Or
A mixture of both. I think as a business owner, I think you often, you want to know, like whenever
mm,
I'm doing treatments, I always want to know how someone found their last treatment.
yeah,
Sometimes when it is face to face, people won't be as honest with you as what it is when
okay, that's a
it's,
good point.
via an email or
Yeah.
a text or whatever it is.
Mm,
Um, so I think again, it's just thinking of those clients that will give you feedback, good or bad, but it will be
mm,
truthful,
mm.
because good or bad doesn't actually matter. You just want the truth. That's
Uh, and
that's
I'm
the
guessing
only thing that actually matters.
And I'm guessing also because of the experience that you offer and how well you know your clients or your repeat clients, you'll know if, say, Mrs. Smith would appreciate a telephone call more than Mrs. Phillips.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
you know their kind of personalities, and you know what, the way that they're more comfortable in communicating as well.
Definitely, yeah, and that's obviously due to the loyalty that we've got from our clients, which
Yeah.
which is lovely. You can build up that relationship with people.
And when it comes to that whole experience, as we've spoken about kind of how we interact with our clients, the services we offer, the products that we offer, and how important all that stuff is. But the way in which we present our business is super important today. And today, in the world that we live in now, it's never been so important. Um, I'm guessing throughout the time that you've had the business, it's been important that you've worked with different creative people. And I know that's something that you guys have been going through recently with a rebrand. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, and kind of when you felt it was the right time to kind of rejig things for the business, and how important those kind of relationships have been to enable you to put the message that you really want to put across for Puri?
Definitely. So yeah, like you said, we've just gone through a rebrand, which is really exciting and so pleased with it. I'm absolutely in love with it. It looks amazing. So um, for us, it's really, I mean, for 9 years we've had the same colours, we've had the same
Yeah.
decoration, And it's really easy when you're in a business, when you're working in it, to kind of become just a bit complacent with everything, and you don't really think about changing things up, mainly I think, to be honest, because you're scared to, and you think, oh, have you got the energy to do it, have you got the time to do it? But actually, you know, it's really good to just go back again, reflect and evaluate on what you've been doing, and then look about how do you want to going forwards, what's your message, what's your vision going forwards, and then does my brand actually reflect that right now? And, you know, 9 years is a long time in a business. You know, I look back at our original branding, which is still lovely, absolutely love it, but it's not modern, and it's not kind of what we're about at the moment, and right now. So yeah, for us, when we work with different people, I personally really like to keep it local if I can, or just to keep it with people that have got the same values as us, is really important. So we've been working with a company, Studio Brand Up, who have done all of our rebranding and our new website, which has been amazing. And actually, both Francie and Angie, who own the company, they were clients prior to working with us. And that again is really great, and gives invaluable feedback, because they are going to be super honest with you about their experience and, you know, how they see your brand, and from a client's point of view, which obviously, regardless if you own or if you work in a business, you're not the client, you see the staff room, you see out the back, you know, however much you try to see all of the things the customer does, it's really, really easy to miss things. So that's been really important. And then just working with other local brands, with like our window displays, and it's that, again, sense of community, isn't it, what we started talking about at the beginning? It's really supporting each other and just having people with the same vision, almost, you know, your tribe, really, isn't it? People that believe in the same things as you.
It sounds like it was a bit of a dream team with Brand Up, in that they were customers beforehand, and that they were able to see the experience and able to give you that, and then kind of, I'm guessing that helped them so much to then, you know, recreate the new brand that you have now,
Definitely.
and to see your vision for that. How do you feel about that whole process? Is it just a case of you send a couple of emails with what you want and it comes back? I'm imagining, from knowing those guys, it was quite a constructive, consultation led kind of process to get you to that point.
Definitely. I mean, Francie and Angie are all about the detail. So basically I've got a new business partner as part of this whole rebranding, which is amazing. So lovely to have kind of two of us within the business now. Two heads are definitely better than one. So we've had several meetings with the four of us, about how we see the brand, how we see our business, our 5 kind of keywords and core values, and everything that we want people to feel when they come into the salon. So it's been really in depth. It hasn't, you know, when I first opened Purity, it was literally picking well, I used various people at the beginning, but it was literally picking a colour, picking a logo, which it was back then, because 9 years, a lot has changed. But now I think it's really about the experience that you're offering. It is for us anyway, because that's obviously really important for us. Everyone does it in a slightly different way. But Francie and Angie have been amazing with really going into depth with everything, and the attention to detail has been great.
Because I think, you know, even with like the colours you use and all that kind of stuff, there's ways in which you can make people feel with certain colours, and you know, you can give them, because, you know, things like the website and all the touch points that you give in like cards and printed brochures and all that kind of stuff, for someone that hasn't been into the salon before, they need to get a sense of what it's like before they've even stepped in.
Definitely.
And I'm guessing they were sort of conversations that you had as you were kind of building that brand.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, working with people like that have that expertise, you often, you know what you want to achieve in your business, but you don't know how to do it. And that's what what you get from working with those kind of people is that they can, they tell you how to do it, and they put all of that within your branding package.
And I guess as a business owner and someone that's kind of brought the business through the past, over 10 years now, at the beginning, I guess, like everyone, we're just trying to do everything ourselves, with the best that we can. What benefits have you seen with kind of working with kind of key creative people in some of these things? Is it just it's great to just kind of hand over some of this stuff, or it just gives you more time, or is it kind of a mixture of a lot of things?
I think it's probably the expertise more than anything. That's what it gives you. Time is definitely one of them, but yeah, it's, if you want things done to a certain standard and you want to portray a certain image, unless you're everything, unless you've literally qualified for everything, which I don't think many of us have, you just can't do it. And we all have our areas of expertise, don't we? We all have things that we're specialists at, and for me, that's kind of facials and clients, and doing what I do. I'm not great at looking at clients. I know when you've been in, Ross, and you've done photos and things before, and you've like adjusted the way a price list is standing, I think, how do you know how to do that? How does that work? But that's why you've come in to take photos, and I have done it with my iPhone. So
but I think sometimes a lot of this is that because we don't do it on a day-to-day, we just don't have that idea. And like you say, it's always better to get those people in the kind of specialists in those fields and to bring it on. And because that's so important, because I think for a lot of businesses, they maybe have fantastic levels of service and product and all that kind of stuff, but all their touch points are not singing the same tune. You could offer a fantastic 5-star experience, but when someone comes to your website, it just doesn't connect.
Definitely.
And I think when we're speaking about experience and that kind of boutique approach, I think that's so important, that you kind of get that. And I appreciate that for people that are maybe just starting businesses and that kind of thing, maybe they haven't got the investment and bits and pieces there to enable that. But I think there's so many ways that you can just connect with people, through networking, or just maybe if you're starting off to exchange services, that's another way that you can do it. Just surround yourself with people that are knowledgeable, that, like you said before, have the same kind of ethos as you, and are just kind of nice people to work with. Because I found in my experience that if you just surround yourself by nice people, it seems to kind of fall into place.
Oh, definitely. That's all we want, isn't it? Nice people.
If only. Eh?
Yeah.
We've spoken about so many different things in this episode. For you, Michelle, what have you found just to be the key points? What has been the real kind of I guess overall benefits of delivering the level of service that you're doing? I know we've spoken about the feedback that you've had. We've spoken about the way in which you can kind of connect with clients. The fact that you've got that loyalty. Would you say that those are the kind of main things that kind of leap out at you, are things that you hold special when it comes to what you do?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, and our reputation. We have got a reputation for being really professional and for offering, such a specialist and boutique service as such. I think that's what's important, and that's what makes you proud, isn't it? That's what you want as a business owner, is to have a reputation of people, definitely within your field, that look up to you and actually see you as a bit of competition, because that's what you want. I
think there's a phrase somewhere, and I'll probably paraphrase it in my way of trying to remember it, but I've heard that a brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Definitely.
And I think we can talk about logos and all that kind of stuff and products and services, but it all comes down to, I think, what businesses can only thrive when people are using them, and the way that they use them is that when they're talking about them, and if they're talking about you in a really great way, That's all that matters, really, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. It's all about that experience, isn't it?
Yeah. This has been really good to have this conversation around a lot of this stuff. Which is one of the last things I want just to touch on before we kind of wrap things up, where, I'm guessing for salons like yours, where you're offering this level of kind of detail and service, like many others, when we look at hair artists and everyone else that does all these lovely things, you've got people coming into your salon that come in for a treatment, whether it be nails or massage or whatever else, but often go away with a lot more. When I have conversations with people on this podcast, there's often a lot of holistical type of knock-on effects to some of this stuff, whereby you think you're going and getting something, but you actually get a lot more. And my hunch is that a lot of your clients are coming back because they're taking away so much more than just the services that you offer. Would that be true to say?
Yeah, definitely. I think doing what we do, we're in a room, we're in four walls with people, and a lot of our clients, over the years have gone through some really life-changing, real life-changing situations. And people do open up to us and they do trust us, which, is incredible. And it's so, so lovely to have that. So yeah, when a client comes in for a treatment, they're not just coming in for that treatment. They're there to almost leave their worries with us. And we're not experts in life scenarios. We can't give all of the advice. Actually, sometimes it's just pouring your heart out a little and just having someone that doesn't know much about a situation, but you can just tell them things, just makes you feel so much better. And I've often been left in tears once a client's gone, because I've felt kind of so connected to that person, and that I've helped them in whatever way they needed in that day. And that's, again, what builds relationships with people.
We've said this before on the podcast, that one of the most underrated skills is just listening to people.
Yeah, definitely.
And for a lot of people, when they haven't got that outlet, maybe at home or whatever, there's businesses like yours where they're spending time in kind of within their personal space that has so much benefit to so many people.
And that's what we love, as therapists. That's what us as Purity are about, is making a difference to our clients, be it from waxing their legs to be it them just venting and just telling us about the argument they had last night with the husband. It is just that real making a difference to people. And we care, we really, really care about our clients. Like this, this whole situation at the moment of lockdown is just hard for everyone, but it's so hard when you can't connect with your clients and see the people and just check in on them and make sure they're okay in a face-to-face situation.
Perfect. That's a lovely way to finish that part of the conversation. For this, the podcast is called Make Today Count, and for the purpose of what I really wanted to do was for people to get engaged in conversations that maybe they hadn't come across before, or they could take away inspiration, and that even the very next day they could start to make small steps in a certain direction if it really resonated with them after listening. For someone that's maybe listening to this who has been wanting to just up their level of service in their business, they're really attracted to giving that much more care and attention to their clients, but maybe they've held back for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't feel they had time. Maybe they felt a bit of imposter syndrome around the fact they couldn't deliver that level of service. What would be a one small step that they could take maybe tomorrow that would kind of not change the world for them in one day, but would just get them on their way with kind of a small step?
I think there's probably two things, not very good with just one. So
I'll give you two, it's fine.
So the first one would be to think about what you would want. So put yourself in your customer client shoes, and what means a lot to you when you go and have treatments. Even, I love going to restaurants, obviously not at the moment, but when we can, and just, I love watching how it's all working behind the scenes, and you know, the customer service that I'm receiving from people is nothing more that I love than being looked after when I'm going out and having meals. So I often take a lot of those aspects and try and put it back in the salon. So that would be one thing: what you love, what you really enjoy, and what you think maybe you're not giving your customers at the moment. And then the second is just plan, really. Just take a step back, think about how you could do that, and love a list. So write a list, bit of spider diagram as well, and just plan how you can implement small changes. You know, it's the little things that always make the biggest difference. So start off small and grow big.
Perfect. You mentioned there that we're, as we speak, in April at the moment, we're still within the lockdown situation. I know that even though that you guys obviously aren't able to serve your clients in the usual way at the moment, you've got lots of new kind of exciting opportunities for people with kind of the online facilities you've got, especially after the rebrand. Do you want to just talk us through a little bit about what you've got going on at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. So, since the rebrand, we've had our new website, which is just launched, which is lovely. So part of that is our clients can now purchase their products directly from the website, and we can deliver them free of charge locally, which is great, because skincare is a big thing, and actually at the moment I think everyone's really trying just to do a bit more self-care. I think it's really important for people that you can't go out and can't go and have a massage and do things, so actually just to lay in the bath with a face mask on for half an hour is everyone's time out. So that's been really popular. And then the other thing that we're offering is our skin consultation. So our clients and anyone really can fill in a form online, book in a consultation with us, and I will do a analysis of the skin, have a look at what you're using at the moment in terms of your products and what your routine is, any concerns you have, just to get that advice. It's something that I find is really important for clients, and something that actually not a lot of people offer, is that knowledge and expertise when it comes to facials and actually any treatment. So when I'm at the salon, I could be doing leg wax, but actually end up talking to someone about the skincare. And there's so many products out there now, and there's so much sitting on the shelves and on the internet, and you can just type in anti-aging eye cream and come up with a million products. It's actually knowing the things that are going to work for you, and work with what you've got. I'm a massive believer in not buying things unless you need them, and finishing what you've got unless it's becoming detrimental to you, but finishing it before you get anything new. I hate it when clients have a million products in their cupboards. It really, really grates on me. I've often told clients off for doing that. So that's what the consultation is all about, is just really giving people that advice and expertise on what they're using at the moment, but anything that we can add in addition to help them, because like we said earlier, the industry is forever changing, and the beauty industry is a forever growing industry. There's always new things coming on the market. But I love it that I can make more sense of it for people and help them understand what is actually going to work for them to get the results that they'd like to achieve.
I mean, that sounds an amazing service to have at the moment, especially because I'm guessing that, like you say, there's a lot of people that kind of want to treat themselves to different products, whilst they're in, but maybe they're searching online, they kind of know what they want, but they're kind of maybe purchasing stuff that they're a little bit blind to. Maybe they don't know, what the product has in it, maybe the way to apply it and all this kind of stuff. And
exactly.
And these sessions are, I think I'm right in saying, they're kind of free of charge as well, aren't they?
So they're free consultations, no charge at all. To be honest, I just love it. It's so nice at the end of the day just to be able to talk to someone about their skin and give them advice, and that's my outlet. That's my bit of self-care.
Yeah.
Maybe I should stick a face mask on when I'm doing it as well.
Yeah. And, and also there's a lot of people now that are kind of, having to homeschool the kids. Maybe they're having to, do all these other things that they weren't doing, as well as holding up their own job if they're working from home as well. So, what better way to kind of give you an hour to yourself one evening when the kids have gone to bed, when,
Definitely.
you can sort of dedicate that time to yourself and then get some lovely little things in the post afterwards.
Yeah. And get some advice, and definitely.
What's the best way to connect with you, Michelle? I'm guessing the lovely new website they can check out.
So our new website it's puritybeautyipswich.co.uk, and then social media. So we're kind of live on Instagram and Facebook. So we're Purity Beauty Wellness. Come and see us over there.
Perfect. I always like to end these conversations with some gratitude, and when I knew I wanted to have this conversation about this particular topic, you were the first person that came to mind. In that, throughout the over 10 years that we've kind of had, known each other, what's always been consistent is that level of detail, that level of service that you've had for whatever you do, whether it's business or otherwise, and just that generosity to your clients, your friends, and everyone else that you touch in whatever way. Has really been astounding, and it's something that's not always seen, especially in I think in the beauty industry sometimes as well. I think for a lot of people it's kind of fulfilling a service, getting people in, getting people out, and how many more people can we see within a day, but that's never been the sense for what you're doing. It's evident through the conversation that we've had this evening that you're given that time, you're given that level of service consistently, day in, day out. So on behalf of all your customers, thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you. We love what we do. Absolutely love it.
So guys, if you've enjoyed this conversation with Michelle, we'd really love to hear your feedback. You can get in touch either directly to myself or Michelle. You'll find all that information in the show notes over on the website. Also, if you haven't yet, we'd really love you to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. So wherever you're listening to this, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, anywhere that you find your podcast, we'd really appreciate that. But until next time, I've been Ross Dean. This has been Make Today Count, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.